How's everybody doing? Welcome to City Hall. This is my first official press conference as the mayor of the city, so happy to be here with you all today. Thanks so much. Thank you. Well, we are here today for a special, major announcement. I want to first thank Dr. Mihaljevic for your leadership at the Cleveland Clinic, and also my dear friend, August Napoli from United Way. Many years ago, I interned for Augie, so we've come a long way, my friend, haven't we? Yes, indeed, indeed. And I think if you look around this room, this is a true testament of what partnership truly looks like to really solve many of the major issues that we face in our city day in and day out. And the issue we're here to talk about today is the issue of the lead paint crisis. And today, I'm proud to announce that the city has committed to contributing $17 million over 2 years. Over 2 years from the American Rescue Plan Act with council approval to support the Lead Safe Coalition's efforts. Yesterday as well, our cabinet released two important announcements. Number one, we've hired Sally Martin to be our Director of Housing and Building. And we also are delivering on an important campaign promise to have a lead-safe czar and strategist serving in my administration that will work across every single department to make sure we as a city are tackling this crisis head on. I would also say that inside city government, we are truly committed to building a workforce and the capacity to expand and accelerate efforts to make properties safe and work towards the 2023 certification goal. It's time to focus on implementation and accelerating the pace of change to truly eradicate the lead paint crisis epidemic. And this issue is so important for our city. You know, throughout my campaign, I was really moved by one important community activist, Yvanka Hall. We were out at a protest in the front of City Hall, and she said that the lead paint crisis is public enemy number one. Public enemy number one. And today is a giant step towards defeating that enemy to make sure that no child in our city grows up with lead paint, undermining their potential to achieve their God-given potential. So again, thank you for your partnership today, and I look forward to bringing our Council President, Blaine Griffin, to the stage. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Come on now, it's an exciting day in the city of Cleveland. Good afternoon. First of all, thank you so much to Mayor Bibb, as well as my good friend, Dr. Tom Mihaljevic, as well as my good friend, August Napoli, and the entire Lead Safe Coalition. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you so much. On Monday, when we were sworn in to Cleveland City Council, I mentioned that Cleveland City Council's identity will be that we will be a council to take care of people, take care of the people of the city of Cleveland. I also mentioned that we would be first, be different, and be the best. That we would be first in being a leader, that people would begin to ask, how do you come to Cleveland? How can we go to Cleveland and figure out how we do things? We want to be a national model, especially in dealing with this lead crisis. We also want to be different. We want to be innovative. We want to change the narrative. We want to make sure that we do things different and think out the box. And that we would also be the best. That we want to be a model of how you take care of people in the city of Cleveland. I would tell you that lead poisoning is still a serious issue for kids and families in the city of Cleveland. Lead poisoning robs kids of their God-given potential. That's why Cleveland City Council, the City of Cleveland, and our partners in the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition have been working for years on a comprehensive, sustainable, and preventive solution that can work for Cleveland families. We will also know that the Lead Safe Home Fund is our community solution to this age-old But we started with a cornerstone before we moved to raise money for this initiative, and that was in requiring all pre-1978 rental properties to receive a lead-safe certification. And that law has fundamentally changed the expectations for property owners in the city of Cleveland. We have changed the way that we're doing business in the city of Cleveland. The Lead Safe Home Fund is a first of its kind. We knew we couldn't do this alone. We needed a public, private, and philanthropic partnership, the 3 Ps that are the cornerstone of making this successful. We knew that we needed to provide resources to property owners and tenants and families to make sure that their properties were lead safe. The fund's primary goal is to make sure that we provide equity in the city of Cleveland. We want to ensure that people who need the help get it. We want to make capital available to property owners and neighborhoods that have experienced historical disinvestment and focus on community residents to become lead safety professionals. Nothing speaks volumes than making sure that the community is driving and leading this initiative like it is. With today's investments, the Lead Safe Home Fund can expand and more comprehensively, definitively, and more quickly address the impact of lead poisoning. The coalition will now have enough funding to ensure that all rental homes are lead safe, as well as expand and address the impact of lead safe housing for homeowners and others. This will increase the capacity to, as I said, deeply assist homeowners, assist families with displacement due to lead poisoning, and create a national model for lead safe childcare. City Council's investment means we will meet an expressly directed use of ARPA dollars. As Mayor Bibb just said, we will dedicate $17 million from Cleveland City Council to address this issue. I have the privilege and honor of leading a great body, a body that wants to make sure that we take care of people and that we make people the priority of this city. I'm going to ask all of the council members that are here today if they would please stand. And I'll start with my majority leader, Carrie McCormick. We have Jenny Spencer. We have Deborah Gray. We have Brian Casey. We have the Chair of Health, Councilman Kevin Conwell. We have Stephanie House, if she could come out. We have Richard Starr, Kevin Bishop, Chris Harsh, and did I miss anybody? Okay, all 17 council members have dedicated and committed to working on passing legislation to commit $17 million to match all of the dollars that we have here today. We have asked the coalition because we want to make sure that we track these dollars and that we measure the impact of how these dollars will be used, so the coalition will be working with us to put a dashboard in place to make sure that we follow this. I now have the privilege and honor of introducing a person who I can tell you from day one understood how important it was in order for us to address this issue. The first call I received when we passed the Lead Safe Ordinance to congratulate me on taking such a bold step by Cleveland City Council. And we've been working together since 2017 on this issue and others in the city of Cleveland, is the Cleveland Clinic and my good friend, Dr. Tom Mihaljevic, and I also want to acknowledge his entire team, including Ms. Vicki Johnson, who has just been a stalwart in working with us to keep all this together. Let's bring up Dr. Mihaljevic. Thank you so much, Tom, and thank you so much, Cleveland Clinic, to all your board and staff and everyone for really making a commitment to make Cleveland the first, the best, and different. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blaine. Good afternoon to all of you. I would like to thank Mayor Bibb for having us today. Wonderful to be here with my good old friend, August Napoli. So today is a big day for all of us who live and work in the city of Cleveland. As we all know, as Mayor Bibb nicely articulated, and so has Blaine, for generations, lead exposure has poisoned children in the city of Cleveland. And unfortunately, at times and at a rate that is 4 times national average. This is clearly unacceptable because we know that our children deserve better. So today, Cleveland Clinic is pledging $50 million to the Let's Save Cleveland Coalition. Thank you very much. So we are pledging $50 million for Let's Save Cleveland Coalition and the United Way of Greater Cleveland in an effort to accelerate the work of identifying and removing lead and making Cleveland the safest city for our children to grow in. So this is in addition to already $2.5 million that we have committed in September to the United Way. And we stand together with Mayor Bibb, with our Council President Griffin, and each of the Let's Save Cleveland members and the United Way of Greater Cleveland. This effort is critical because prevention is the only effective approach. It is really important to emphasize that there is no cure and no way to reverse the damage of lead poisoning once it's done. And I know that this is a problem that we, when we work together, can solve. Each year, just to remind ourselves, 1,000 of Cleveland's children are afflicted by dangerous levels of lead exposure. And what does it mean in a really practical terms? It means that this lead exposure leads to damages of the brain and nervous system, therefore to the cognitive behavioral problems, and ultimately what it means for children and their family is prevents them from reaching their full potential, essentially deprives them of having a healthy and productive life. Now, this is a silent condition that is present in too many cities in the United States. It's present in our city, but we are now here to make a difference. When we take a look at this investment, it is also important to emphasize that every single dollar that we put to solve this particular issue results in $17 of savings for future healthcare costs. I cannot think of a greater return on investment for any public healthcare issue in this country than lead poisoning. But this is really not about saving money, it is about saving our children and saving our communities. I would also like to say that we enjoy state support with Governor DeWine, who is passionate about solving this issue for the entire state of Ohio. Our communities, as we learn through this pandemic, can only be safe and healthy if every member of our community is safe and healthy. So we at the Cleveland Clinic are committing significant resources, but I would also like to say that we have a very strong and very productive partnership with every healthcare organization in the city of Cleveland. I recently spoke with my counterparts at the university hospitals, Metro Health, and Sisters of Charity, and I can tell you that all of us are more than willing to work together because we will have to work together to solve this problem. Now I would like to invite August Napoli to the podium. As you know, as President and CEO of United Way of Greater Cleveland and a founding member of the Let's Save Coalition, he has been a great leader in bringing many partners together to support these efforts. Augie?
Wow, what a day. What a moment for Cleveland. What a moment for all of us here. What a moment for the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition. You know, nearly 3 years ago to the day, January 22nd, 2019, City Councilman Blaine Griffin stood here and announced what many refer to as history-making law aimed at significantly reducing the number of children whose lives are forever changed by lead poisoning in their homes. It's my distinct honor to stand with Mayor Justin Bibb, with City Council President Blaine Griffin, with Dr. Tom Mihaljevic, and say thank you to Cleveland Clinic to celebrate the major milestone of achieving the financial goals necessary to make Cleveland lead safe for our children and their brighter future. I think it's fair to say that 3 years ago, no one could have imagined a single partner or institution that would commit to fund more than 50% of the goal. And I just have to say, Dr. Mihaljevic, again, on behalf of all of us, thank you for $52.5 million that the Cleveland Clinic has committed to this effort. That deserves another round. It speaks volumes, and we're so grateful. You know, today marks another historic moment of which all gathered here can be proud. Our community continues to rally together in ways rarely, if ever, seen in cities across this country. The Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition is a true and complete reflection of our community, and all shoulders to the wheel collaboration, including dedicated and passionate caregivers, advocates, homeowners and tenants, and landlords, as well as members of our faith-based communities, philanthropy, the media, the corporate sector, and all levels of government working together to make our city lead safe and help create stable homes in which all Clevelanders, and especially our city's children, can live and prosper. The United Way of Greater Cleveland is dedicated to identifying and addressing root cause issues of generational poverty that plague our city. And we know that underlying factors that keep people in poverty include access to affordable, stable, and safe housing. And so it's for that reason that the United Way of Greater Cleveland enthusiastically joined the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition in its early development, because we are confident that the coalition's science-based strategy works. Extensive research has shown that lead exposure, even in what appears to be a very small amounts, has an irreversible impact on children. Take this packet of sugar, for example. Exposure to the same amount, a small amount, of lead-contaminated dust as the sugar within this packet can cause irreversible damage to kidneys, to bones, the heart, and the brain, as well as lifelong behavioral challenges, developmental delays, lower IQ, and ongoing health issues, all of which are preventable. Every day, 4 children in Cleveland are poisoned by lead, robbing them of the ability and opportunity to reach their full potential. United Way is also dedicated to be faithful stewards of charitable donations. That commitment stretches over more than 100 years, from the $1 donation of a school-aged child to the truly life-changing $52.5 million commitment from the Cleveland Clinic. United Way will steward that investment, and in doing so, we will ensure that in partnership with the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition, we can and will provide tangible, measurable, long-term outcomes and progress for those in our community who are most deeply affected by the irreversible effects of lead poisoning. I'm honored to stand here and represent the entire Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition, a coalition of more than 500 members strong who are tirelessly dedicated to bringing about systemic change and working to alleviate the devastating effect lead has had on our community. Seated up front, right here, are members of the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition, and I would ask them to stand. Please stand. And be acknowledged, be recognized for their leadership and for their commitment to this work. Nothing happens of good and power within this community without collaboration and working together. And this is the embodiment of that group. I'd like to particularly call out Iona Blue Donnell, who is with Enterprise, with Kevin Nowak, with Cleveland Housing Partners, and Kim Foreman with Environmental Health. Where is Kim? There she is, Environmental Health Branch. These are the brains that are making this happen. So on behalf of all of us, all of them, all of us, thank you, Mayor Bibb. Thank you, Council President Griffin and City Council. And thank you, Dr. Mihaljevic and the Cleveland Clinic, for your faith and confidence in the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition and in the United Way of Greater Cleveland, and for your leadership in making this truly life-changing investment in the lives of children and their future. Thank you. Now let me turn this back over to Mayor Bibb.
Thank you, Augie, and that concludes our press conference. We'll be available for a couple of questions, but before questions, again, to all of our partners, activists, organizers, to the clinic, United Way, and to Council President, one more round of applause for today's announcement. Any questions?
Question for you, Mayor.
Yeah.
You're a lead-safe strategist.
Yes.
What do you want this person to do, and how close are you to making a hire?
Well, one of the things we heard about throughout our campaign to be the next mayor of Cleveland was just the lack of coordination that existed across all departments to make sure we had a unified approach to tackle the lead paint crisis. So my senior strategist will work with my administration to make sure we address those bottlenecks. And we've gotten some great applicants in the pipeline, and we'll make an announcement relatively soon on that. Yep.
And Mayor, game-changing is a word that's overused very often, but safe to say this would be that thing completely.
Absolutely. You know, for a while we've gotten really used to thinking that brick and mortar real estate projects will be the panacea to Cleveland's problems. And today's investment shows that investing in people is the surest thing we can do to make sure that Cleveland can be that city of opportunity that can work for everybody. Yeah, thank you. Council President, you want to say anything on that point? Yeah. Any other questions? Can you speak up on that, please? Augie, you want to speak to that? You got all the money. What do you want to spend it on?
Well, we want to make Cleveland lead safe. That's what we're going to spend it on. You know, there are very targeted goals that have been thought through and worked in collaboration with research based through Case Western Reserve University, and they're all spelled out in our plans and documents, and they're available to you online, and we can provide that for you afterwards. But you know, it's safe to say that the first things first, we have to make sure that we understand the full scope of the issue, where it resides, which areas are we going to start with first, second, third, and put together the measurements that are going to be necessary to determine short and long-term effect that this remediation will have on Cleveland's children and housing.
One thing that this does is it helps us to bring it to scale. Before, we kind of had a strategy that was targeted and you had HUD dollars and other things. I also want to commend Secretary Fudge, who has continued her commitment to make sure that she contributes and focuses on this, as well as Senator Sherrod Brown, who's the head of the Housing and Banking Committee, that we've had conversations, and they're also committed to put money into this. We've had strategic areas that we've done in Glenville Glenville and other areas around the city. But what this does is help us to bring it to scale. We also focused originally on renters because we know we have a large rental population in the city of Cleveland. Well, this helps us expand our opportunities in order to be able to help with homeowners as well. So we have a plan, we have a strategy. Now this actually puts us over our limit that we actually had a goal of 99 million, but I would tell you that this is also a call to action that we need other corporate partners to do, just like the clinic did, in order to put money into this. Because as Mayor Bibb just said, there is no better investment that we can make in the city of Cleveland than to invest in people. So we hope this is a clarion call to other corporate partners to really put money into this fund to help us to scale up and to make sure that we can cover every ward, every neighborhood in the city of Cleveland.
One more question? Yeah. Courtney?
I'm wondering, so we talked about that $99 million goal, this makes us over that number. I'm curious where we're at over that number, and also we talked about the need for other contributions and other corporate partners. Why would we be explain the need for additional resources beyond that?
Good question. Where we are.
And thank you for asking that question, because it's important to acknowledge that before today's announcement, there was $47.3 million had been committed to the Lead Safe Cleveland Coalition and to this initiative. So this combination of 52.5 from the clinic and 17 from the city puts us well in excess of $100 million to about $115 million. Now, we know that this is over a period of 5 years that we'll be spending this money, and the cost of doing this work as we ramp up will probably increase. So there's that cushion that we now have. We have some protection there. We need the corporate community to continue to invest in this because we're talking about the first step being rental properties in the city of Cleveland. We're talking about homes that were built before 1978, and so, but those are rental. We need to move into other areas, and now we have that opportunity to do it because we have extra dollars available to us. And the corporate community needs to know that this is not the end of the journey. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint, and it took a long time to get to where we are today, and it's going to take a very long time to get out of it, but we're going to, and we're committed to doing that.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.